Halito, everyone.
Halito.
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 Oh, much better. Well, good evening, everyone. I am Assistant Chief Jack Austin Jr., and it is wonderful to be here this evening and welcome you to our cultural event. We normally open our events with a word of prayer. I've asked our language instructor, Miss Lily Roberts, if she would come open us with that word of prayer.
Thank you, O Ma, O Father God. We thank you for this beautiful day that you've given to us. We thank you for all the things that you bless us with to live a good life. We pray that you will give your blessing to this meeting of Child people today and lead us in this meeting. Pray your blessing on troops men and women serving in places all over the world. You will care for them, comfort them, and bring them home safely.
Miko, Miko Pilucianica, we pray that you will continue to bless our chief and assistant chief.
Ano ba si Tinia? Jesus Christ po ato ako po si Masinita. We ask all this in Christ's name. Amen.
Okay, at this time I'd like to ask Joe and Steve if they would come to perform the Lord's Prayer.
Abba Ishbima Jehotifo Holy Topa Jinyak Nitmiti Nana Ahikapi Kashofi Ahika Kili Kashofi Anupalika Iskila Wilina, Nano Polo Pipano Fichi, Chilma Pilichica, Isayali, Politopa,
Thank you, Brad. Thank you. We'll go ahead and see if this mic will work. Seems like it's just a little hot. But again, welcome this evening to our cultural event. It's great to be here. And all right. Again, it is great to be here. Let me change mics. Let's try it one more time. Again, it is great to be here tonight in San Diego, and welcome you to our cultural event. It was great meeting a lot of you and seeing some familiar faces from back home. Some of the Paxtons, I got to see them earlier. But for some of you that may not know, I've been serving in this role or this capacity as assistant chief now for about 9 months after Chief Batten had appointed me. And I must say, it is definitely an honor to serve as the assistant chief. But just a little bit about myself. I've been with Choctaw Nation now for about 24 years. And all of that time being with the healthcare services there in Tallahena. In fact, I actually started there at the old hospital. We call it the old hospital there in Tallahena. Shortly after I had was honorably discharged from the Army, right after, let's get that back a little bit, soon after Desert Storm had ended. And I was last serving as the director of our Men's Recovery Center there in Tallahena when Chief had approached me about the assistant chief's position. So it's been an exciting 9 months to say the least, but anyhow, my wife and I have just celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary last month. Thank you. We have 3 wonderful children, and our oldest son is Clark. He's 19 and in college, and he's still trying to figure out what he's wanting to do. I think he's going to be winding up his 2nd year in college, and so our middle child is our only daughter, Malaysia. She's a senior in high school, and like typical seniors, she has senioritis. She's ready to get out of school and quit doing all that homework. And our youngest, Sam, he is a very energetic 5 years old. So Chief always likes to give me a hard time about that one. But no, he's been a blessing to our life, and he's certainly, again, like I like to describe him, energetic. He brings a lot of good energy to our family. But that's just a little bit about me. Right now, I'd like to introduce to you someone I've known for quite a while. And I think of him as a servant leader. He's dedicated his life to serving our tribal members, preserving our culture, our heritage, and our language. He's been with Choctaw Nation now for 28 years. And during that time, he has served as the Deputy Director of Housing, the Executive Director of our Healthcare Services, and the last 7 years as your Assistant Chief. Would you please help me welcome Chief Gary Batten.
Well, Yako Key, Jack, thank you very much. And wow, that is extremely hot, but Halito, San Diego.
Halito.
It is great to be here in what I call Western Oklahoma. There are so many Okies here in the western part of, or here in California. You know, most people came out here, their families came out here after the Depression or World War II looking for jobs so that they could take care of their families. And so one of the things as a chief that I always believe that we need to do is make sure and keep our family, our Choctaw family, united and strong. Tell everybody about what's going on within the Choctaw Nation. And of course, as you can tell, share about a rich culture and history. I mean, and I love seeing our people in our traditional dress. Don't you think they look good? Yeah, give them a good round of applause. But Jack, he was saying that, I've been with the tribe for 28 years. Well, actually, in January of 1987, I was attending Southeastern Oklahoma State University, and that's where my wife and I, we got married in January. I went to work. At the end of that semester, she told me, she said, you have to get a job. And so that's when I went over to the Choctaw Nation, started there on the Summer Youth Program, believe it or not, which is just an 8-week program, and able to continue working my last 2 years of college. And yeah, I know it. I was there when Dennis Rodman was there. No reflection upon myself, but it was a great time being there with the tribe and to see the growth of the Choctaw Nation through those years. But also for me personally, my wife and I, as you can tell, we've been married in January 17th of this last month. We've been married 28 years as well, so we're very proud of that. And we have 2 children. We have Stacy, my daughter. She's 30. And believe it or not, I'm 48. We adopted her when she was 9 years of age. And my wife and I was 26 years of age. Our David, our son, is 22 years of age. He's on the 10-year program going to college right now at Southeastern Oklahoma State University, trying to figure out what he wants to do in life. But I'm very proud of him. He also serves in our Army Reserves. I'm very proud of him for doing that as well. And believe it or not, I have a 12-year-old grandson that actually lives with my wife and I that keeps me, I get home from work and I'm tired. He's like, let's go play basketball, Papa. I'm like, oh dear Lord. But he does. He keeps me young, keeps me making sure I work out and do the things I need to do. And then of course we have Kaylin. She's our granddaughter. She is 8 years of age. And she's a true blessing in my life, I'm telling you. She definitely keeps me young. But that's a little bit about my family. And like I was saying, it is great to bring the Choctaw family together. Matter of fact, I was looking back there, and I had one of my family members here. My grandfather was Henry Clay, a full-blood Choctaw. Her grandfather was Jesse Clay, and they moved out here in those times. And that's Jennifer Clay back here. And she actually works here at our clinic locally. And Jennifer, thank you so much for coming out. Let's give her a big round of applause. But you know, like I said, when I was born in Wichita, Kansas, and we grew up there, and I knew what it was like to feel disconnected from the tribe. You know, you didn't know what was going on within the Choctaw Nation. And so that's one of the things that I want to do as chief, is make sure to continue coming out here, let you know what's going on. But I can tell you, my goal as chief of the Choctaw Nation is to keep our rich culture and history alive while providing opportunities for you, our tribal members, no matter where you live, and making sure we keep a strong, stable Choctaw Nation for many generations to come. That's what it's all about. And to me, when I think about our culture, you know, I was telling somebody this story earlier. I think about my grandfather, as I mentioned earlier, full-blood Choctaw. He didn't pass on the language to my mother. At that time, it wasn't a good time to be Choctaw. You know, he walked with his head down a little bit. You know, and then what was fortunate is in 1975 and the 80s, then when I was growing up, that's when it's okay to start being Choctaw, being Indian again. And he taught me a little bit more of the language. And so I know more than my mother does, but I'm so proud to say that David, my son, knows way more than I do. And my challenge is to my grandkids that they know more than David does. And that's the reason why we want to keep this language going for the Choctaw Nation. And I know Lily's going to challenge y'all here in just a little bit. We want to make Halito as world-renowned as Aloha. So everybody knows that. So we want everybody to make sure and learn Halito. But you know, I think about one of the things you'll be seeing today is we'll be doing some traditional dance, and all of the people that you've seen, all the staff has come. How many of you got to do some beadwork and actually make some earrings and things? Raise your hand. Yeah, that is awesome. I mean, before long, you'll be making belts like this. I made this belt last week. No, I really didn't. It was given to me by a good guy, Roger Ammerman, from up in Santa Fe, New Mexico. But it begins with you to keep our culture and our history alive. And I'm so proud of our staff for coming out and sharing our culture, our history, really sharing our language so that we can remember who we are as Choctaw people. And if y'all would, I'd like to recognize our staff at this point in time for coming out and giving up time from their family to come out and serve you, our tribal members. Let's give them a big round of applause. We do the bead work. I saw Seth and some of them out here playing stickball earlier. But the reason why we do these things is so that we can keep the values of who we are as Choctaw people alive. Values such as servant leadership. How many of you know the Irish potato famine story? Quite a few of you. I'm proud of that because whenever we came across the Trail of Tears and we lost a fourth of our population, we did not have casinos back in those days. And our tribal members actually dug in their pockets and gave to the Irish people. Now that's true servant leadership. That's the type of people that I want to model myself after. I think about strong and resiliency. Those people that came across, our tribal members that came across the Trail of Tears, I keep saying, that led that way to Oklahoma, led that way for you from Oklahoma to here. You know, that's what strong and resiliency. You're still here. The Choctaw people are still alive and strong, and it's because of them. And I think about honor and courage. And I think about our code talkers. And I know most of you know that story. But y'all know that our tribal members at that time, the ones that received, or that was code talkers, they weren't even U.S. citizens at that time. But yet they fought for God and country. I mean, that is the type of people that I want to become. That's the type of people that I want to display. And so I'm proud that we're going to keep those culture, those values alive. You're going to hear me talk about those things. And one of the things I'm really excited about is we're going to be building a cultural center in the future. And that's because we want to showcase the Choctaw culture to the world. And no matter where you live, we're hoping that you can come back to Oklahoma and see that once we get it completed. I mean, we're just in the beginning phases of the planning, but I'm so excited about that, and I think that will be a great thing for us. Also, you know, I talked about providing opportunities for you, our tribal members. And one thing I believe is we have to invest in our people. If we want to keep a strong Choctaw Nation, it's our people that does it. Not the Scully, not the money. And so I didn't know if you was where I talked to some people earlier that received the higher education program. If you received that, or a family member that's received higher education, raise your hand. You know, and that is awesome to see that. And that's available to you no matter where you live. If you'd like to further your education, we'd encourage you to do that. We also established the career development program. The career development program is not everybody wants to go to college. Some people want to go get a trade. And so we want to encourage you, we want to help pay for that, for you to go get a trade. Also, when I saw Seth and them, I'm looking around for them, they're representing what's called the Choctaw Foundation. And we established that so that we can help people go on, get their doctorate, get their PhD, so that we can continue to strengthen and grow our tribal members so that they can come back and take my position, take Jack's position one of these days to continue that great legacy. I think about the STARS program. Have you ever heard of the STARS program? There's a few of you that heard about the STARS program. That is where our kids that's in school, if they have A's and B's, they get a certificate, a gift card. And if you have perfect attendance, from the grades of 2nd grade through the 12th grade, we help them. We want to make sure that our kids get a good education and stay in school. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but also we have housing loans available for you, no matter where you live in the whole United States. That also helps with repairs. If you just need to remodel your home or something like that, that's available to you as well. And so that's just some of the programs I mentioned. Jack mentioned earlier about the Recovery Center. I know it's in Oklahoma, and it's kind of sad to say, but we still have alcohol and substance abuse problems. You know, it's not just within the Choctaw Nation, it is kind of worldwide. but we establish that recovery center so that we can give a place for our tribal members to come back and it's culturally relevant to them, to receive the treatment and give them the second chance that they need. And I can tell you one of the things, I've known this guy over here to my left since I was 17 years of age, and we went to the same church together. He had the heart of a servant at that time. He just is such a great guy, good father. He is doing an outstanding job as your assistant chief. He's leading our businesses now. He's helping develop services that our tribal members need so desperately. And if y'all would, let's give our assistant chief a big round of applause for his job. And I talk about making sure that we maintain a strong tribe. Well, it takes money to keep a strong tribe. And so most of you, I don't know if you're aware of, when you think about the Choctaw Nation dollars, 44% of our dollars goes to services. 36% of our dollars goes back to invest in businesses, so that we're really dependent upon Canada right now. We love that Texas money as it comes across over to us. We love that Arkansas money as it comes over to us. One of these days, believe it or not, they're probably past game. And we need to make sure that we diversify. And that's the reason why we invest 36% of those dollars back in future businesses. Because we need to make sure and continue to provide the services to our tribal members. And lastly, we put 20% into what we call a sustainability fund, rainy day fund, if you will. And I'm so proud to say right now, we've only been doing that for the last 5 years. We have enough money that will, the higher education program, the career development program, we call it emergency assistance program. There's some other programs that go on. If gaming goes away tomorrow, we have enough money in that sustainability fund to last from now on. And that's investing in our people to make sure that we keep a strong tribe. So I'm very, very proud of that. Just to let a few people know about, for us, some of the business ventures that we're doing right now. And I know this may not be big to you, but if you've been to southeastern Oklahoma, we are doing a Chili's. We developed a franchise, or partnered with Chili's to develop a franchise in Atoka and in Poto. And that's the first time ever that we went into the franchising business. So we're very proud of that. And believe it or not, man, Chili's, we love that food. And we don't have the great seafood that we have here in San Diego. But also, I was talking to a gentleman over there. He's from Antlers, Oklahoma. I think he said it was 1972 was the last time that he was there. We're actually building a Choctaw convenience store there and a small little casino in Antlers, Oklahoma. We're also in Heaton, Oklahoma. I don't know if you know where that is. We have a travel plaza there. We're going to be adding a small casino to it. And currently in Durant, we're doing a huge major casino expansion down there so that we're actually trying to become a regional tourist destination. Because again, Dallas is only about 90 miles away from us. There's about 6 million people in that metroplex, and they're expected to grow over 10 million by 2020. So again, we want to make sure they come up to us, but we're putting a movie theater in there. We're building an event center, a 4-screen movie theater, also a bowling alley. And so just an expansion so that we can make sure and keep the family there. Right now it's more of the adults, and so we want to make sure and grow that. So that's just a little bit of what's going on within the Choctaw Nation. But again, I want to keep this brief and just say Yako Ki, which is thank you for coming out and spending your time with us this afternoon with the Choctaw family. And I always say I like to leave with 3 simple words. It's Chata Siahoke, which is I am Choctaw. I hope today after you leave, and I hope you are right now, that means I am Choctaw. I am proud to be Choctaw. And it's not because of the Scully, it's not because of those things, but it's because of our rich culture and history. It's all those stories that we learned from our grandparents and from our parents that we want to keep alive. Matter of fact, I would like, if any of you know any success stories of tribal members, one of the things we're trying to do is highlight those stories. We're making commercials of people. I was trying to think, we have a good Choctaw from Red Oak, Oklahoma that is playing for the Kansas City Royals. We have another Choctaw that's playing for the Washington Capitals, I believe it is, the baseball team up there. So, and I know that's just some sports examples, but anybody that set some good examples, please let us know. You can reach us on Choctaw Nation Facebook or call us at our toll-free number. I don't know, did everybody receive their calendar this year and their ornament? Did you like those for Christmas ornaments? Yeah, that's great. And hopefully, not too long ago, did you receive your brochure of all the services that's available to you? We was glad to send that out so people know what's available. And then also, if you want to reach out to us, ChoctawNation.com, you can reach out to us by that way. But again, just want to thank you so much for coming out this afternoon and say Chipisa Chiki. There is no goodbye in Choctaw, and it means that until we see each other again. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Chief. Well, as Chief was talking about our culture and our history and language, kind of got me thinking about this. How many of you can speak Choctaw fluently? One back there, I see you, Brenner. What about just a few words? Just a few? Would you like to learn some more? Well, good. Well, right now I'd like to welcome Miss Lily Roberts back up to the stage, or to the front, excuse me, to help you with some Choctaw language lessons.
Chief, how am I going to do this? I talk with my hands.
Alito. Y'all did better for them. Alito. All right, that's what I like to hear. Kakuki. Before I get started, I want to introduce my sister. Every time I've had the chance to come out here, I guess it's been about 4 or 5 years ago, she'd say, "Oh, are you coming to San Diego?" "Yes, I'll be there." Well, Jerry and I are going to be out of the country. But she's here tonight. Ruth, Jerry, would you stand, please? Their daughter and grandson is here also. Yvonne, Zach. Thank y'all for being here. Okay, I've been asked to share with you some of our kinship terms. Kinship terms. And I have done some research on it, but not a lot. But our kinship terms have possessive terms, and they're spoken in third person. My mother, my father, your mother, your father, his mother, his father. So I don't know at what point we began using the terms mom and dad, mother and father. The only thing I can think of is back in the time of the first European contact, when we were beginning to assimilate to the European culture. That's the only time that I can think of that we started adopting these terms. In my family, my parents were called mom and dad. In my mother's family, her parents were called mama and papa. In my dad's family, they were called mom and pop. So in asking people who are older than me, I tried to find out, when did we start using these terms? And I still don't know. So I can't give you that information. But the word for father we're going to learn tonight is anki. Anki. Everyone try that word. You nasalize that A. Then say ki. Anki. Anki. This is saying my father. So I don't know how the Choctaw people used to address their parents. As far as I know, they didn't, because like I said, this was spoken in third person. What was the word for father again? Anki. My father. Anki. That nasal A is the word that says mine. It's built into the word, built into the understanding. My father is Anki. Try that word again. Anki. What's it mean? Achukma, achukma. The word for mother, sashki. 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 Good. My mother, Sashki. Chief, they're doing real good. Sashki. Sashki. What's it mean? All right. Oh, he's pointing at his mother. That's great. That's great. Okay. Grandmother. Sapukni. Sapukni. My grandmother. Sapukni. Try it again. One more time. What's it mean? Good, very good. Okay, grandfather. I'm awful. I'm awful. That's a nasal A again. I'm awful. One more time. What's it mean? All right. Okay, got another thing to share with you about aunts and uncles. Traditional kinship terms were given according to placement in the family. For instance, my mother's sister was called my first mother. My first mother. Sashki is mother. Sashki Achafa was aunt because she was my mother's sister. The kinship term for the aunt who was my father's sister is Ahokni. Ahokni. Somewhere along the way in my family, we began using Ahokni for both sides of the family. So that's the term that we use for aunt. For uncle, we would use the term Amoshi. Amoshi for uncle. The father's brother was called Anki Achafa, my first father. Anki Achafa. But again, somewhere along the way, uncle and aunt became the same for both sides of the family. Okay, the word for aunt, Ahokni. Ahokni. One more time. What's it mean? My aunt. Okay. My uncle. Amoshi. Amoshi. One more time. What's it mean? Good. Okay. One more time. Father. My father. Anki. Mother. Sashki. Uncle. Amoshi. Amoshi. Aunt. Ahokni. Ahokni. Grandmother. Sapukni. Sapukni. Grandfather.
I'm awful.
Amafo. Amafo. I kind of get it, don't I? Okay, let's do this again. Mother. Sashki.
Sashki.
One more time.
Sashki.
Father. Anki.
Anki.
Anki. One more time. Grandmother. Sapukni. Sapukni. Grandfather. Amafo. Amafo. Aunt. Ahokni. Ahokni. Uncle. Amoshi. Amoshi. Okay, good. Good. One more thing I want to teach you tonight is what Chief was saying. We're Choctaw. We want everyone to know that we're Choctaw and that we're proud to be Choctaw. First word is Choctaw. Choctaw. All the T's in Choctaw are going to sound like T. We don't have the sound of D in Choctaw. So anytime you hear somebody say Chada, that hurts my ears. You tell them it has a T sound. Choctaw. Choctaw. Good job. Sia, I am. Sia. Sia.